Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with the deck tech for the pre-release. I decided to go 4 colors utilizing the banners, 4 out of the 5 of the banners. The reason I did not use this Mardu banner here is so the curve, see if you can focus there we go. The curve on my deck here, there isn't really anything at 5 or more mana that really requires a red or a white, only 2 of the cards. So it's really a waste if you're ramping into this banner to it doesn't hit the green, which we're trying to really ramp into, or the blue, which are the 2 colors that we really need to hit for our 5 and 6. So I decided not to that. Again, I apologize for the focus. I'm having a little bit difficult with this webcam. It doesn't want to focus here. Let's see if we can get it back in here. Anyway, so I decided to go, basically the most powerful cards in the deck were these Feet of Resistance by far. The Feet of Resistance, +1/+1 counter on target creature is huge. Plus protection from a color is huge. I mean, this card can do so much. It acts as unblockable. It acts as indestructible, basically. It acts as getting a creature +1/+1 counter forever. It's a counter. That's not until a turn. So it's really good. And so I weighed these Feet of Resistance very high. Black had some really cool cards that I had to cut out. We had the Warrior that gave a 3/2 for 2 mana. Seems very powerful in this format when you have a lot of stuff that comes into play tapped. I'm running 6 comes into play tapped lands, so I think my opponents are going to be on par with that. And they have a lot of 3-colored stuff that is hard to cast by turn 3 and turn 4. So that 3/2 for 2 mana can really get in there for some work. But see, I'm thinking this format is going to be a lot more fun in the draft than it is currently in sealed. Sealed just looks like a mess of different things, and that's kind of when I was trying to make a deck here. I mean, it has some really cool cards I wanted to play with, like Secret Plans, the one that says whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, draw a card. I just didn't have enough morph cards in that. I'm utilizing, I believe, 3 morph cards here. Yep, all I have is 3 morph cards. The other morph cards just I didn't really even have many to begin with. And you can really make a more streamlined deck in draft than you can in sealed. So basically, the cards that I wish I could have utilized was the 4 mana black 4/5. I'm thinking that can actually be outclassed if you're putting a 4/5 on turn number 4. I could be on my own turn number 4 with a 3. I could be putting out a 5/5 that just outclasses it, and then some of these other ones here are just a 3/2 unblockable with prowess. Seems a little bit stronger than just a 4/5 that can be chump blocked for a while. We have also in black, there was the 5/4 when it attacked target creature cannot block. Very hard on 5th turn to really get it out. That's when you really wanted to get out with 5th turn. As a 5/4 again is going to start being outclassed by other cards. So I thought I'd just go with more of the bigger creatures. So for the banners here, and then trying to get into these bigger drops. Here we have a 7 mana 6/7 morph for 6. Just no abilities, but again we're going to try to crush through with the Feet of Resistances. We have a trample 5/5 for 6 mana that we can morph early on and then morph it for 5, and hopefully it does the trick. We have this Tusk Colossus, a 6/5 for 6 mana. Seems pretty solid in the format. We have a 4/5 Flying Prerelase for 6 mana. That was one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to go blue. But blue-white was really solidified by this dude, the Sage of Inward Eye. Again, I'll just read it to you. It's a 3/4 flying whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Creatures you control gain lifelink. And I'm thinking that even though I'm going a bigger strategy, this card will just win the game if I hook it up with a couple Feet of Resistance and whatnot. So, I mean, again, very straightforward deck, not really trying to do anything too fancy. Thought I'd include the Invasion guys, a 2/3 Vigilance for 4. Again, if it gets hooked up with a +1 counter, now it's a 3/4 with Vigilance flying. pretty solid card. Scaldkin can act as a removal against a morph card. It's a 2/2 flying for 4, which you can sacrifice to do 2 damage. We have a 2/1. Very excited to brew around this card in drafts. A 2/1 for 3 mana with Prerelase. There's a lot of non-creature spells in this. So I'm running 11 creatures. I did decide to go with a Savage Knuckleblade. He probably won't come out on time much, but a 4/4 for 3 mana. That has the ability to pump itself, return it to your hand, and also give it haste for an extra red. Seems very powerful. Did have some decent control. We had Smite the Monstrous in here. We have, again, I'm going to go more of a tempo-based deck that we're just going to try to pump through or punch through. And Crippling Chill basically taps down their blocker. For 2 turns, we get to draw a card off of it, so it'll trigger that prowess. We have an Arc Lightning that can do damage, 3 damage divided, and we choose very solid card. And Becoming Immense I decided to include in here too, because it's just a very, very, very solid card. So I'm thinking that it's just, I mean, it's so much damage for one card. It's 6 for 6 mana, 6 damage for 6 mana, which by then we're going to be casting it late to delve. I have a number of either evasive creatures or trampling creatures. So everything in here has flying or trample. Most of the stuff have flying or trample or just huge. And again, hooked up with a Feat of Resistance, unblockable, we're gonna be able to get in there for the win. Timir Charms were just too powerful not to include. I cut them and then put them back in, then cut them, then put them back in, and being able to both counter a spell or destroy a creature, basically in this deck I'm able to fight and kill anything, seemed like an auto include in this deck. So I have very good fixing with the 4 different lands. Everything taps for almost a green or a blue, and so I'm going to go heavy on the plains and then very light on the red, as there isn't much red in this deck. We just have 4 cards that use red, so probably no mountains. Oh, actually 6, so maybe 1 mountain in here and 1 forest, and then the rest we're going to go into blue and white, as only 2 lands tap for white here, and one of the banners taps for white. So again, this seems like it's going to be a very fun format. Didn't have any incredible bombs. Overall, I feel pretty good about this sealed deck. I think that it can get the job done. I got a lot of sideboard options, like if there's any early aggro, I do have those 2 mana enchantments that they tap a creature, and then it doesn't untap during its untap phase. I wish I could find that enchantment. It's called the Singing Bell Strikes. The Singing Bell Strikes seems very powerful in this. Let me put it back on the focus here, and you can see these cards. So this card, enchant creature, doesn't untap. They have to pay 6 to untap it. We have Naturalizes. If I go against another deck that's trying to do a strategy like mine, and using like 5 colors, we can destroy those artifact or enchantments, which, being the banners, is pretty relevant. I could go, like, if I need to punch through even more, they have flying creatures, we can go Wake the Bears. Like, tons of sideboard options. This is going to be... thing I like about this format, which I think is the opposite of M15, is it really favors the experienced player, the player that can sideboard properly and build properly, because it doesn't seem like... seems like M15 was really, the limited formats were dictated by bombs in cards, because a lot of the bombs were commons and uncommons, like Triplicate Spirits and Crown of Flame, the Nightfire Giant, and any of the double-colored or the monocolored creatures that, if you have the allied color, they did something. So like the Elf and the Kurd Champion and whatnot. So anyway, excuse me for rambling. It's 1 o'clock right now. Still trying to build the deck for the midnight pre-release and whatnot. So yeah, going back to what I'm saying is this limited, the sealed format with Tarkir, I think is really going to challenge deck builders. I don't know how a new player will really be able to react in this one, but the experienced player will definitely have an edge, being able to utilize the curve, utilize actually mana fixing properly, and just knowing scenarios. Again, I've played Dragon's Maze. triple Dragon's Maze, and it took a while for even the pros to figure out that really going 5-color good stuff and having the larger creatures that you can ramp into by utilizing it was the banners here, but it was the signets in Dragon's Maze was really the way to go. So I'm going to try to keep going that strategy. I think we have a very solid deck. There's no missing pieces. We have plenty of control. I do wish we had a little more playable creatures. That way we could, play like 13, 14, 15 creatures rather than I just have 11. So I really need to stick a creature and keep it alive and just continue to punch through. So hope you enjoyed this. Again, I apologize for the webcam. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.